How now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. These to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know, I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall first, asking your pardon, Toronto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Signed, Hamlet. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back, or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character, naked, and in the postscript here he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart, that I shall live to tell him to his teeth. Thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you will not overrule me to a peace.
To thine own peace, if he be now returned as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit, and ripen my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall, and for in his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
If all is right, you have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and that, in my regard, of the unworthiest siege.
What part is that, my lord?
A very ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that in wears than settled age his sables, his weeds, importing health and graveness. 2 months since here was a gentleman of Normandy I have seen myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback, but this gallant had witchcraft in it. He grew unto his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse had he been corpsed and demi-natured, with the brave beasts. So for the top my thought that I in forgery of shapes and tricks come short of what he did.
A Norman was it?
A Norman.
Upon my life, lay more.
The very same.
I know him well. He is the brooch indeed of all the nation.
He made confession of you and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for you, your rapier most especial, that he cried out, would it be a sight indeed if one could match you. The scrimmers of their nation, he swore had neither motion, guard, nor eye. If you oppose them, sir, this report did Hamlet so envenom, with his envy that he could nothing do but wish and beg your sudden coming over, to play with you. Now, out of this.
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like a painting of sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you do not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof, time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love, a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at like a goodness still, for goodness growing to pleasury dies in his own too much. That we would do we, should do when we would, for this wood changes, and hath abatements and delays, as many as there are tongues, or hands, or accidents. And then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. But too quick of the ulcer, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
No place should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds, but good, Laertes. Will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned shall know you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellence, and set a double varnish on the fame of Frenchmen gave you. Bring you and fine together and wager on your heads. He being remiss, most generous and free from all contriving, will not pursue the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and a pass of practice requite from you, your father.
I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that, if blood just tip the knife in it where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all samples that have virtue under the moon, can save that thing from that is scratched withal. I'll touch my point with that contagion, that, if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, swear better not essayed, Therefore, this project should have a back, or second, that might hold if this did blast and proof. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. I have it. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to end, and that he calls for a drink, I'll have prepared for him, a chalice for the nonce, wherein by shipping, if he had by any chance escaped your venom stuff, our purpose may hold there. But stay, what noise?
One will doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sisters drown, Laertes.
There is
Drowned?
a willow
Oh,
grows
where?
askant the brook, that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she make, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do, dead men's fingers call them. There on the pendant bows her coronet weeds, clamoring to a hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lauds, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
She is drowned.
Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet, it is our trick. Nature her custom holds, let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly extinguishes it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now for I think this will start him up again. Let's follow.